Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this video series that we're doing to help you let go of stress, build high worth and let go of the school trauma and bullying, and as a result have better relationships with the people around you, including your parents and your friends and family and everyone all around. Now, I want to make an announcement first. A couple of months back when we launched the channel, we did the high worth masterclass. It was absolutely amazing. It was kick-ass. I'm sure you must have attended. If you didn't, don't worry about it, but I just want to tell you that it was amazing. The reviews that I got for the masterclass were out of the world, and the way we did it, basically there was no electricity at my place, so I had to go somewhere else, and I was sweating there all the time, and we just did it somehow. But it was such a huge success and people got such amazing breakthroughs that I wanted to do something like that again, but in a much more deeper manner. So we're coming up with a 2-day workshop. It's going to be called the Warrior Monk Workshop, and I'll tell you more about it in the upcoming videos, but it's going to be launching soon in a couple of days. We'll let you know about the dates and everything in the next video. But in this video, for that, as a lead into that, I want to give you a basic preview of what we're going to be doing there. And here today, we're going to be talking about how school affects us, how the trauma that we receive in school is just running our life even now, the shaming, the bullying, and the number of things that happen out there, how that still affects us, and the ways in which school trauma happens, and why a number of problems that you might be facing right now in your relationships and the way you talk to people or with your self-worth or with doing anything at work might be coming from your school life. So let's start the video. Welcome back, guys. This is High Worth Cycle and my name is Kshitij. Here I help high-performing individuals like you let go of your subconscious anchors that make you feel that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, and as a result develop high worth, develop deep confidence, and develop deeper intimate relationships, and finally get to a place of feeling like you are good enough and that you're completely fulfilled and happy. So here in this video we're going to talk about, as you know, school trauma and bullying. So let's just get into that. So I've identified 10 things that make school hell for us, that traumatize us, and that includes bullying and the different ways in which that happens, and I've got them written down out here. The first thing that happens is anytime we go to school, we're taught to conform to discipline and behave in a certain manner. What that does is it definitely teaches us about discipline and a lot of things, but a lot of other things get missed out. Our natural unique abilities and our natural unique qualities that we have, those get missed out, and our success or a failure in school depends on for how many hours we can sit quietly and stare at the teacher and not understand what is going on. And then when the exams come, we got to just mug up everything even if we don't understand it or not, and that just makes us feel like what we're doing out here does not matter at all. We just have to mug up things and we just have to succeed without us learning anything new. And naturally, many of us are successful in other extracurricular activities. Maybe it could be that we like painting more. And if we like painting more, the way the grading system works, if you want to paint and we're an artist, we're failed to class and we're not promoted out there. So I had a friend in school, all right. This is when I was back in Delhi, and he was amazing at everything apart from study. So he was amazing at football, he was amazing at running, he was amazing at athletics, he was the best at basketball, and he was amazing at drawing. All right, he could see anything and he would draw it on a piece of paper with his pencil and everything, and it was just amazing, like the stuff that he would do. The drawings that he would make with his mouse on MS Paint on a computer, that was amazing. He was an amazing dancer. But in class 9, he was failed. And he wasn't let go to class 10 because he did not get the required marks. Now, someone as talented as this guy, all right, succeeding in everything and being in every competition of the school, not only in the school, but even on a state level. Like, he was one of the best sportsmen, one of the most talented people I've ever seen. Him not being allowed to go to the next class and being punished because he's drawing in a class and the teacher is teaching maybe something like maths, which he has no idea about, and then getting him into fail, that really gives a hit to our self-esteem and what we feel about that. And that's truly making us feel like we are not good enough right now because we cannot excel in this one thing. And naturally, everyone around us, the culture is making us feel that we're a failure, because one thing, which is studies and grades, itna importance is given on that we feel like we're a failure. Coming to point number 2. So another thing that happens in school is there's a comparison with other people, which makes us feel ashamed when they're better than us. So we're forced to compare ourselves to other people, like the grading system, that this person is first and we're second. Even though I've got 90% marks, but if someone has 90.01% in class, he's better than me. And we feel ashamed because of that. This is even added on if our parents are very critical about ourselves. They're like, you came second in class, why didn't you come first in class? You're supposed to come first in class, otherwise you're not good enough. And comparing ourselves with other people on this basis makes us feel like we're not good enough. Of course, a healthy level of competition is required in sports or anything because it helps us excel. But when this healthy level of competition becomes into unhealthy competition, where we feel we're a failure even if we get 1 mark lesser than someone. If someone's got 100 out of 100, we got a 99 out of 100, and we feel shit about ourselves, that is not the right way to be going around things. And naturally, parents have a huge role to play in this as well. As I mentioned in the previous video, they need to accept their kids as in how they are and teach them about how life is. That even if you are not first, that does not mean the other person is better than you or they're worse than you. Your true value and your true worth relies in who you are, not on the marks that you get. So the self-worth that we build needs to be detached from the things that we do, the marks that we get, or if we're coming first or second in class. And that's one of the another blunders of school that happens, which makes us feel traumatized and which messes up even when we grow up. Because when we're doing a job, if someone's doing a job better than us, or if someone got a promotion we haven't, or when we compare ourselves to our friends and they're further away in their journey, but we're on a different journey, maybe we're on an entrepreneurial journey, which is going to be filled with failures and everything, or maybe they've gotten some recognition that we haven't, or maybe we just don't want to be an entrepreneur, we just want to do a job, a nice job, but we want to come back and we want to relax more. So value system is different, but because we cannot understand that every person is unique, lot of shame, lot of comparison, lot of feeling like we're not good enough happens as a result of that. Number 3, comparison due to the financial situation at home or how much money someone's parents has. Now this can come out as something very natural that kids feel. Telling like a personal story of myself as well. I went to an amazing boarding school, alright. I've had amazing friends out there who have never once in my life made me feel like I haven't had the money. Even if I didn't have the money, they would bring their tuck and their chips and everything. They'd always share with me. I had a particular friend who had a sweet shop here in Delhi, and the sweets he would get from there, he would not share with anyone and he'd always share with me. And I came from a background where we didn't have a lot of money, just barely. Making the fees of the school was too much, and that was the reason like this is something that I haven't shared with people like back then, but now I think my friends know. But the only reason why I left the boarding school was because my parents did not have the money to pay the fees as well, and naturally I had to switch schools, which is something that I absolutely hated at that point in time. But anyway, my friends, they never made me feel like that, and these are people from the biggest political backgrounds, the most richest of the places, like different places they come from, and they come from amazing households, but they never made me feel like that. But naturally as a child, when you see other people having a different car, or when you see themselves doing something else or having more money or getting something better, like more clothes, better clothes, something like that, you can't help but feel like you're not good enough. And at that point in time, if I would have had someone to guide me and tell me that, you know, that this is how money works and some people have more money, but if my parents would be like, we still love you, it's okay, you would be feeling that they've got better things and that your friends even love you, and there was like a clear discussion on that, I think it would have been a much better situation. Making it even worse, I remember this one guy who was in school and he would always be like, nothing to blame him, maybe because that's just what the values his parents had, or maybe that was his way of feeling good enough, is by showing off the money that his parents had. And he would be showing off a lot of things. Like one thing he would say is, I've got a Ferrari in this country, and I've got this particular thing, I've got like, there's this one bizarre thing. It was like, my dad is a suitcase, and if you keep the suitcase, it turns into a car, or when you get out of it, folds into a briefcase, and then you can carry that. And number of times, like, I was right there in the vicinity. Like, I wasn't someone who would be bullied about, all right, what do you have at home? But there were enough discussions that I saw happening where this particular guy was like, what do you have at home? Do you have a PlayStation at home? And I was like, I want a PlayStation, but I don't have a PlayStation. And I was like, just please don't fucking ask me if I've got a PlayStation or not, man. Right? Because that was a situation where some sort of bullying was happening, some sort of shaming was going on, and other people made you feel that they're not good enough. And then it went on to like, my dad has a helicopter, he's got this car and that car, and I was out there like, I mean, there's nothing going on right now. We don't have anything. There's not even a car. I think by that time my dad got a Maruti 800 at that time, and these people were like in Pajeros and Porsches and I don't know whatnot. I'm like, please just, keep me away from this. Like, imagine someone who's directly doing that to you. So I was there just witnessing that, and I would feel shame inside myself, and I'd be getting very anxious and, not very comfortable in that situation. So this can happen in two ways, in which I just mentioned. One is just natural comparison is going on. There's no one to communicate it to you. That is completely fine, and that's how money works. But we love you. We're doing the best that we can. This is something that parents need to say, and that our love is much more. Plus, on top of it, your value doesn't depend on how much money you have or what you don't have. All right. And then secondly, the problem could occur in a way where people gang up against you and they bully you and then shame you with that thing. Next is, again, going deeper into this little bit of shaming stuff, is the teasing that happens. The teasing due to our physical features, or when we mess something up. Like, we're supposed to do a particular thing. Let's say we're supposed to read in front of the class, and we get up and we fumble our words and everyone's teasing us on something. So I was in a boarding school, alright? So let's say someone wets their bed, and that's That's one of the horrors. Like, if you ever wet your bed, you're going to be teased and shamed so much in school. Or if you start crying, you start missing your parents. So we're going to be teased and shamed on that. Or our physical features. That again makes us feel we're not worthy, we're not good enough, and makes it a very unsafe environment for us to grow in. And that's where our fear of social situations also develops. Because even now you might be feeling that if I go out there, people will pick on me. Alright, I have clients like this all the time where they're like, I don't want to interact with people because I know they're going to make fun of me and they're going to pick on me and they will bully me. So these experiences get stored in our psyche, and not only in the mind, but they get stored in the body, because the reactions that we have to them are on a very physical level. They make us feel like, okay, this is something really bad going on. We start getting nervous, we start maybe getting loose motions, our heart rate goes up, we start to sweat. I've had clients whose hand sweat so much that it feels like they've dipped their hand in a huge bucket of oil. Moving on, point number 5 is punishment that we get, and rather than our teachers understanding us when we mess up, we are punished. This could be physically punished, hit with a cane, slapped, or like the spanking that would be happening, or hit with a stick or a cane. And those kind of mindsets are there that spare the rod, spoil the child, which basically means that if you do not discipline the child with the rod and with the stick, you will spoil the child. So it's important for us to do that. And that makes us feel, in fact, like, who has ever felt better about themselves when they're being treated like this, when they're being mistreated and they're being hit by someone and made to feel like an animal? All of us feel worse about ourselves, all right, about ourselves, that we're messing up. And a lot of shame is developed just by the mere fact that we're hit. Physical abuse just leads to a lot of shame because it makes us feel like anybody can come and anyone can treat me like we're just an object, or just that we don't matter and they can do whatever they want with us. And my pain or anything, it's not enough. It's just not good enough. A better way that needs to be there is rather through punishment and rather through shaming. Teachers need to be understanding of how the child is and not losing patience and punishing him, screaming at him, scolding him, or sending him out of class as a way to discipline him. Because that puts a hit at the self-esteem. Like, you will get him to conform, probably, but then his self-esteem will be hit. At the same time, that's where a lot of rebellious nature starts to come out as well. People start to rebel. After class 8, you can't hit a child. The child's going to start rebelling. The entire class is going to start rebelling. We've had so many instances where other people have stood up because a particular teacher was mistreating one of our schoolmates. And this is something that really needs to be taken care of. Like, punishment has been mainly banned everywhere, but then it still kind of, sort of happens. At the same time, when we're made fun of, this particular fear of failure or this fear of judgment is always there. Let's say there's a class reading happening and it's our turn to read. So we get up and we know what we need to read. It's everything clear, but we just mess up because we're so nervous. We're so scared at the point in time because if we mess up right now, we will be punished. And that fear of punishment spoils a natural performance out there. So even if someone is smart, just because he's asked to do something in front of other people, or because there's a fear of punishment, or when there's an exam out there, and because there's so much pressure on ourselves at that point in time, we will mess that thing up. So rather than them focusing on punishment and violence towards the child, emotional violence, physical violence, anything, there needs to be more love and compassion to take care of the child and to get them and to set them up for more success. School is set up in a way that we need to come first in everything. We need to do something amazingly. And when we're shamed for that, when we're teased for that, when we're punished for that, we stop trying out new things, because we don't want to get into that fear of failure. Now, this could be trying out a new sport, trying out a new activity like debate, dramatics, dance, or this could be giving the answer to something out there, or even being successful in a particular thing. So fear of failure and fear of success, both the things are out there because both the things include a lot of pressure on ourselves. So someone could be great at something, but they just don't want to succeed because of the external pressure that comes with that. And the external pressure comes and we don't know how to handle that pressure. Next, point number 8 is bullying and teasing and the ganging up that happens against us. When bullying happens, or someone is picked on a particular thing, or they're hit, or when people gang up and they start to pick on this one particular person, it's very traumatic for us. It makes us feel unsafe. It makes us feel that we don't have any friends. It makes us feel alone, and a lot of shame is there because there are other people laughing at us at our expense. Naturally, a lot of anger also develops and which pents up inside. Sometimes we retaliate, but sometimes we just can't do anything about that. But these things have a greater impact on our subconscious and the way we talk to people even later on, because the fear of bullying is always there, and a particular body mannerisms also happen when we're in shame. So when we're in shame, naturally the body mannerisms is our shoulders are down, we start looking down, and that clearly indicates that we feel shameful about ourselves. And when someone who's in a more perpetrator energy, as we call it, a perpetrator energy of someone who is a bully, he's going to notice that particular energy of that person who is walking like this, and he's going to pick on that, because that same shame energy and the shame body language is also a victim body language. So a perpetrator will always go after a victim, and the victim and perpetrator are going to be bonded in this particular manner. Alright, so if there is someone who's walking straight like this and who's very confident about himself, there's a very little chances of him getting bullied. Someone who's more social, who has more friends. Only someone who's alone, someone who does not look strong, someone who cannot make eye contact with people is the one who's going to be always be picked on. And naturally, this leads on not only from school, even further away in our life, where we see people ostracizing us in situations, making fun of us, bullying us, teasing us, even in college and even at our workplace. Point number 9, teasing that happens when we like a particular girl. Ooh, alright, or for girls when we like a particular guy. You're in a particular class, right? Let's say class 3. I think class 2 or class 3 is when most of us have a first crush. Some of you would be like, bro, like so early. It's completely natural. You have your first crush around that time, or whatever age it is. Just look back to that class. There's this new girl in class, so there's a particular girl that you start to like, or you have a crush on her. And what you do is, because you're so nervous at the point in time, you tell one of your friends. You just tell one of your friends, and you're like, bro, don't tell anyone. But I really like this girl. And guess what that person does? He goes out and he tells everyone. He's like, Kshitij likes this girl, Kshitij likes this girl. And naturally everyone comes in, they start to tease us. It becomes very awkward. Even if the girl would like us, the pressure is so much that nothing would be happening at that point in time. Unless there's someone who's so alpha who's gonna be like, you guys are stupid, I'm gonna still go and talk to the girl, and I can take this pressure because I just love all of this stuff, what's going on out here. So that's amazing self-esteem if someone can do that. People like us, who have to build the self-esteem and who subscribe to the channel, we're not of that category, alright? We'll be like, alright, yeah, I'm sorry, just don't tease me. And we'll, like, our faces would go red and we'll be so embarrassed at the point in time. Now, that teasing matters because even later when we grow up and we have to do that approach to say hi to someone, or we have to meet someone, or we have to show our intent, we have to clearly showcase our intent, this particular traumatic experience gets triggered again. So here, along with the teasing, another thing that happens is we start to develop trust issues towards our friends as well. We cannot trust people. That's another way in which school also affects us. And naturally, we cannot show intent and we cannot trust people. And processing all of this stuff becomes super, super important for us to at least feel worthy, live our lives properly, show our intent, take risks, and develop some amazing boundaries around those things as well. And then coming to the final piece of the puzzle, point 10, is if at any point in time there's some sexual abuse that's happening out there. Alright, in schools, those kind of things happen. Maybe it's through a senior, or maybe someone did not know better. It's just that being treated in a particular way, or like, being taken advantage of by the seniors, or some form of sexual abuse. That's something also that happens there. Not only through the seniors, but through teachers as well. You can be a boy and still be sexually abused by one of the female teachers, or you can be a girl and be abused by one of the male teachers. That's one of the horrors of school as well. And this is for another video, but I mean, all of us know how bad sexual abuse is. So those are the 10 ways in which school traumatizes you. Now, let's move on to the solution part of it. How do we get over this? What are the solutions about it? Firstly, it's to understand that a lot of anger is built up when all of these things happen, alright? When we're being bullied, when we're being shamed and teased, a lot of anger inside us will be built up along with the shame and a lot of things. The process is the same. It's a 4-step process. First step is awareness. We've got to be aware of these things that have happened. And we've got to understand that these things are still affecting us and not feel like that, oh, this thing happened in the past, but now it does not affect me. If you can think about these experiences and feel bad right now, and you're feeling nervous, or you just don't feel ideal right now, you feel very emotional, you feel angry, any of your emotions are taking place, that means you haven't processed that. That means it still is running you. Or if any of those situations that have happened there have turned into a pattern, and you can see those same patterns in your life right now, we need to handle this, we need to deal with this. Just because something happened in the past does not mean it's not there. It's still there, we're just not thinking about it. We're just trying to forget it. But when you're listening to this video, those memories might be coming back. And how do they make you feel right now? Of course, they might be making you feel something. So that means there is something out there that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be brought into awareness and resolved. So number 1 step is awareness. We need to be aware of what happened and how that affected us. Next is connection. We need to connect with the pain that we felt during that time. The pain, the anger, and we did not know how to process that. And what we did was we just avoided that pain because we did not want to be shamed by other people. Because let's say there's something bad happening and we want to cry. If we cry, we'll be shamed again during that time. So naturally, we don't want to cry and we don't know how to process those things. And we develop defense mechanisms for that. So one defense mechanism, not crying. Another defense mechanism, always being a rebel or not talking to people, always being in this angry mood. So the defense mechanisms come up. Next is you got to get to a part of releasing and processing all of that happened. So because number one thing that happens in bullying and shaming, teasing through peers or through your teachers is anger. A lot of anger is developed and we need to let go of that anger. We need to behave in the manner that we want to. We might be thinking that I want to hit this person, I want to hit my teachers, I want to do this, but because we're so small at the point in time, we can't do that. And now that natural response needs to be taken out. So if you can put yourself in a situation where you hit, you punch, you scream, and you do whatever you want to do at that point in time physically, that will put your body in a state of physical safety. Not just thinking in your mind that I'm safe right now, but somatically you have to feel safe and you have to process that from your body, and that's how we process it. This is something that we'll be doing in the upcoming Warrior Monk workshop as well. So if you need help with that, stay updated on the videos and I will be guiding you on how to do that directly. Now, once you've released all of that, once you've let go of the anger, once you've hit and everything, then we need to invoke the warrior monk inside that will save us, that will protect us, that will build safety and build those boundaries inside us, so that we can channel that warrior monk inside, so that now these situations and these patterns, if they repeat in our life, we can say no to them, we can stand up for ourselves, and we can give it back to people. Of course, we're going to be staying zen like a monk. We don't want to do that, but if there is someone out there, we have the capacity to give it back for them. And that's why we can feel worthy, we can feel confident about ourselves, and we can move on with life and have amazing experiences and break these patterns, these subconscious anchors that are weighing us down and make us feel we're not good enough and stop us from achieving the success in all of the different areas of our life, depending on who you are and what experience you had. I hope that brought a lot of insight into you. This was video 2 of the 4-part video series for the Warrior Monk workshop. The registrations of the workshop are going to be going live from the 5th, which is going to be a Tuesday, the 5th of October, and the workshop is going to be a 2-day workshop. We'll be doing it on the 9th and 10th of October. So be free on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be 8 to 10 p.m. I'm going to be making the announcement very soon, but make sure you guys block out that time, and we're going to be going live on the 5th. And the workshop will be on the 9th to 10th. So we'll have a couple of days to register and then attend the workshop. All right. Let me know what you thought about this video. I will see you guys in the next video, where we're going to talk about the love-hate relationship that we have with the parents and how to turn that into an amazingly loving relationship. All right. This is Kshitij signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, give me feedback on this video in the comment section below. And if you're excited for the next video. This is Kshitij signing off. Thanks, boys.